All right, Zach from Johnny's again, doing the weekly checkup with you for Walt's senior project. This week, just like last week, I said he was going to be making the schedule. So here's the schedule he made. The thing with the schedule is labor is a percentage of that goes into the daily, the weekly, the annual sales, and you want to keep it, like I said, between 14% and 20%, and it goes accordingly to the day. Mondays are typically between $1,000 and $2,000 days, so that's not a very busy day at all. So you want to run a minimum crew, or as least people as you can. So, and that's exactly what he did here. We had 2 people in the morning, 2 people at night serving. We didn't have any cashiers. For cooks, we did 2 in the morning, which is typical. 1 guy prepping the food, another guy cooking, and at night we had 3 cooks, because nighttime, dinner time is busier than lunchtime. 1 dishwasher, 1 driver, and that's pretty much it for Mondays. Tuesdays is a busier day for us, so because we have trivia, so bring your family and your friends for trivia. And so we run an extra server and an extra cook, but same amount drivers and dishwashers. Wednesdays and Thursdays, just like Mondays, bare minimum, 3 cooks at night, 2 servers, and 1 and 1 of the dishwasher and driver. But then we get to Friday night, which is, of course, the busiest night for any restaurant, and we have 5 cooks, 5 servers, 3 cashiers, 3 drivers, 2 dishwashers. So we typically run between $5,000 and $7,000 days with that, so we can up the percentage. Pretty much same thing with Saturday, and then Sunday we start cutting back down because it's the end of the week. People are getting back into their normal routines, and Walt did a good job realizing that and putting it together on paper for everyone. So very pleased with that. Everything should go well. We'll let you know next week after that. And there is, things to take into account when making it, such as the request off book, which, with high school kids, there is typically a lot going on. That's our main employment as far as employees go. But this week was a little difficult for him because Wednesday, right in the middle of the week, there's 4 servers requested off, just 1 cook, 2 drivers, and 3 cashiers. So, which we don't even have cashiers on Wednesday, so I don't know why they did that. But, so that's something to take into account for, and can be a little tricky, but it really wasn't that bad this Wednesday. But, so that's what he did, and we've went over hiring and firing people, which I guess we'll go with hiring first. First, they fill an application, pretty basic stuff. Cover this up. Name, address, phone number, where you went to school, references, and what other jobs you had, which is important. That gives me someone to call, ask how they were, would you hire them back? Because there is certain questions that you can't ask legally. You have to, there is a drill. You can't ask why they got fired or if they got fired. It's pretty just broad questions for the most part. But if everything checks out and they look good and everything's there, you call them in, schedule to see what time, is best for them, best for Walter or I to give them a, interview. And there's just certain questions you ask right off the get-go. Do they have transportation? If no, how would they plan on getting to work? And by that, you kind of determine if that's a reliable enough source. Of course, if they don't have one, what they didn't like about their old job, or why they left their old job, what they did at their old job, and once you kind of get a background, find out their hobbies, their interests, if they go to church, certain things, what days off they would need, you really just it's for certain people, you look for certain different things. Like if you're hiring a server, you want to see if they have personality, if they have spunk, if they're smiling a lot, if they're talkative, because that's something that's going to go hand in hand in their job. You don't want to hire someone for a position like that that's very conservative and like, you know, to themselves, and is soft spoken, and you know, it's hard to get things out of. And as far as like dishwashers or drivers, you really just gotta make sure they're going to be reliable and they understand the duties of their job, because those are a little harder. Taking out trash, cleaning dishes, those are jobs that, you know, people don't realize how demanding it is until they're actually in it. And so you really just gotta prepare them, make sure they understand what they're signing up for and getting in for. And of course, making sure that they, both parties, no matter what, understand how their wages work. You know, if it's hourly, you know, especially with servers, Georgia law allows us to pay them a minimum of $2.13 an hour, but they get to collect tips. And if they don't make above minimum wage per hour, we are legally obligated to pay them $7.25 on paper through their paycheck. So there's certain things. Cooks, you usually want to make sure they have some kind of cooking experience. We have a very large menu here. We have, you know, subs, Italian dinners, hand-tossed pizzas, which can take, you know, months to really get someone comfortable and ready to do something like that. So experience is a big plus and something that I definitely look for in hiring someone. And that's pretty much the gist of it. It's really not a tedious thing interviewing someone here. The job's fairly easy. You know, we have high school kids do it, so we're not looking for the whole package here. That would be nice, but really, you know, you kind of, it's easy to work with. It's easy to train people. This is pretty much a start-off job. Like, a lot of people get into it, and it's their first job, and you know, it's not hard, is what I'm trying to say. But once they're hired, and there's a couple reasons, you know, why they might get fired. Typically, if you're late, we have a write-up warning sheet right here. You know, we'll give warning 1, 2, 3, the dates, who wrote it, and then the reason why. Then they have to look over and understand reasons to get a write-up. There's, you know, dozens. A couple is obviously being late, maybe foul language, maybe, you know, you're not doing your job well that day and you're giving away tables, or you're sitting down, not cooking, you're taking too many smoke breaks, you're on your cell phone, you know. And then there's obviously warnings for those, but some other things are immediate fire. I mean, you know, sexual harassment, drugs in the workplace, or alcohol, those are huge. You know, you just like anywhere, you cannot do those kinds of things here, and it's not appropriate, and that's immediate action. That's, you know, you have to let them go on the spot. That's a danger to themselves and other people, depending on what it is. Sometimes you might have to get law enforcement involved, which luckily here at Johnny's we've never had to do that, knock on wood. But let's see, what I mean, really, it's pretty, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory to be a proper human being at work. Like, regardless of what kind of job it is, you have to have some level of professionalism. But that pretty much wraps everything up. And for this whole 10 hours that I've worked with Walt, it's been a real pleasure. It's been awesome. He's made some improvements here. He's really shown himself. I think he could pretty much run Johnny's, you know, by himself, you know, and they can just let me go and he have my job. And I think he'll do great in business administration. He's got it all down. He's a very smart kid, and, you know, I'm going to miss him helping me out, to be honest. So, you know, maybe we'll have something in for him in the future here. But yeah, thank you guys. I really enjoyed being his administrator, and yeah, that's it.